We did talk to Dr. Chow. You guys probably know him as the Pro Football Doc on Twitter. I mean, this guy was probably one of the first. Now you have a million doctors going on Twitter and posting videos and stuff, and what they think happened to players. But he was the first one to do it, hence why he got the name at Pro Football Doc. First to it. But yeah, Dr. David Chow, who was the head team physician for the San Diego Chargers for a long time. So I don't know if JD and him had ever met before today, but I mean they knew same people, so they knew had mutual acquaintances that they discussed a little bit today, which is so funny. It's always so small of a community, you guys in the NFL.
Small community, man. It's we have a very, very tight community.
Dr. Chow is still practicing doctor, still practicing surgeon, so it was tough to get him late night. It was tough to have his kind of schedule with him, so we did a pre-recorded interview with him. So we're going to play that right now for you guys. It's plenty of information on Rashee Rice's mysterious injury, Hollywood Brown, and Isiah Pacheco. So this is the doctor, David Chow, kind of goes into all that detail, and we'll be back on right after that. So enjoy the interview that we did with Dr. Chow. We were lucky to have the famous pro football doctor, Dr. David Chow, coming on here. He's the guy, he's the go-to guy for any injury online on Twitter or X. When an injury happens during a game, you just go to Dr. David Chow's Twitter account, see his quick explanation on guys who are injured during the games on Sundays and Mondays. And obviously you can get more information from Doc from the IC score, Sports Injury Central, where you kind of get the lowdown on all major sport leagues injuries. And Doc's got all the info there, but we're lucky to have him coming on today to talk about this mysterious Rashee Rice injury. So, Doc, I was under the impression that you get an MRI and we know exactly what's going on with him. And it seems like they're doing more tests on him. We won't find out kind of the stuff with him until next week. So kind of talk to us about what is going on with Rashee Rice from your opinion on everything.
Well, okay. Thanks for having me on, and I apologize for bad lighting. I am in the OR. My case is starting there, but the anesthesia is working, so I got some time here. But obviously not the regular studio, but this is what it worked out here. This is not a fake backdrop. This is not a virtual.
It's the real deal. It's the real deal.
Yeah. And yes, I took my hat and mask off because I'm in this room and it looks weird to have that stuff on. But anyways, first of all, for Chiefs fans, that I have not examined Rashee Rice. I have the utmost respect for Rick Burkhalter and the medical staff of the Chiefs. And I'm not trying to second guess anyone or anything. I'm just giving observations, sharing some insider knowledge like you guys and like Jason does about the league and football and what have you. Okay. So number one thing, let's get the MRI. I don't have any idea medically where this too much swelling for the MRI to tell. That's fiction, fake news. I mean, I've heard so much about it. I actually called 2 or 3 other radiologist friends of mine and said, what am I missing here? How is this the case? Okay, so let me try and straighten that out. First of all, maybe lay media has it confused. I am not calling the Chiefs liars. I'm just saying there's something that isn't clear cut. And whatever that is actually good news because the anticipation was season over, ACL torn.
Yes.
Anything short of that is potentially good news. Is he playing next week? No way. I mean, same chance of my winning the lottery, but I don't buy a ticket. So if that tells you anything, okay. Is he headed towards IR? Almost certainly, right? So anything short of season ending is potentially good news. And that's where you're at right now. At least there's a glimmer of hope. That's it. Now, as far as too swollen, lots of times a knee is too swollen to get a good exam. Because, and this is why on field and in the locker room immediately, we actually get better exams as team physicians because the swelling hasn't fully set in yet. An MRI that has swelling or edema or fluid is in some ways better because that's like doing contrast, or injecting dye because the MRI detects fluid. Now, what could they be talking about? Is it possible that there's signal in the ACL, a lot of it, or what we thought all along, the posterolateral corner, and because of the signal, they're not 100% sure how much it is partially torn. Is it 25? Is it 50? Is it 75%? Okay, I can get how that partial tear ACLs because of swelling could be a little bit confusing. But that's still good news that it's partial. It leaves hope alive if that's the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would they say that? Or someone intimate that? Partly the same reason, look, I was on the other side of the equation, that I never left the field without knowing someone had an ACL tear. And what would the team always say? What every other team still says today, waiting MRI.
Right.
We already know off the exam, waiting MRI for final confirmation. And so that's usually how much you really know. And so the fact that the MRI is a little bit inconclusive is any good news. But here's the other thing I would say. Why are they saying MRI swelling in this? It's an easily believable story. Just like it's an easily believable story for the team to say MRI pending, as opposed to we know there's an ACL tear. We're working out a trade for somebody else and not trying to sign someone else. We just don't want to tell you. They just say MRI pending. Everyone buys it. So this MRI swelling, too swollen to tell, gives them cover to get some other opinions. And that's a good news because if it's not definitively out, anything short of definitively out is good news. But let's not celebrate yet. He's not out of the woods. It's just there's a glimmer of hope, right? I mean, you're down 2 possessions and you need to score and get an onside kick. There's hope. At least you're not down 3 possessions with 2 minutes to go, right? I mean,
right.
At least the game's not over. At least you're not on kneel downs. You're not facing victory formation, right? That's what we thought we were facing. We thought we were facing victory formation. Now, hey, we got a late touchdown, and all we need is that onside kick, and then you get the touchdown. I mean, it's not impossible. So that's kind of where we're at.
So let me ask you, Doc. I mean, when I heard it, and people were asking like, why does it take us so long to get an answer? And one of the things I was telling them is this: first off, you had to fly from the West Coast. Okay, you want to get back to your facility, you want to get back to your own place, to do all the testing, right? You got to get everything set up. He gets a good night's sleep. There's no rush. Set everything up. Let him come in. They're gonna put the ice on it when you travel. Like all these different things have to happen, and it's going to take some time. I had this same thing happened to me when I was in Philly, 1998, 99. Had defensive end came from the opposite end, foot was in the ground and hit my left knee. And I had tore my PCL in the back. So from it, I had a bone bruise and a PCL tear. And and correct me if I'm wrong, but they told me, the ortho at the time, I know you might know Bartolozzi and those guys up there in Philly at the time. I don't know if the Bartolozzi.
Sure. Yeah, Art Bartolozzi. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. They were saying like, look, Jason, we don't know if it's necessary to go ahead and get your PCL operated on. He told me probably 75% to 80% of guys don't have their PCL intact. He said most of these guys, because of hyperextension happens, these things do. It's kind of common. It's kind of common. So I was looking at it the same way, and I was telling Marcus, I'm like, that's it's good news. If it's nothing definitive as saying that the ACL is torn, good.
That's right. And so by video in game, we all saw the interception and Pacheco hit him high on the thigh.
Yes.
And from our war room when we were watching all the games going on, our immediate conclusion was obviously thigh contusion, quad contusion, but that's not the big part of it. It's the hyperextension of the knee. Now, we only got one video angle. Maybe you guys saw more. We only saw one. And we always like 2 angles or more if possible, just like you've got end zone copy and sideline copy of coach's tape, right?
Right.
It looked like to us there was a hyperextension of the knee. We, in real time, said bone bruise and likely posterolateral corner sprain, which is a ligament on the outside and back near the PCL of the knee. Was ACL on the list? Yes. but what didn't reach what we say is a 95% threshold of confidence where we'd say, yes, he's got an ACL, or we start talking about the ACL. What we do is we don't try and do, it could be ACL, it could be PCL, it could be LCL, it could be meniscus, it could be bone bruise, it could be hyperextension. We don't go down the multiple choice list. We just say, like, the one or two things that we think it might be. So we didn't see enough to say it was for sure an ACL.
Yeah.
We also didn't see enough to say there's no way it's an ACL, right? So when reports started coming out, maybe it's an ACL, we said, okay, we didn't really see it for sure, but here it is. And now hope, right? Let's get that onside kick.
Yeah.
Right? If you're onside kicking, it's a good thing because that means it's
you got a chance. Yeah, there is some hope there. Right. And we got to hold on to that hope. And like you said, when Andy when they were asking him at halftime, like, what do you see right now? And Andy was like, well, it doesn't look good. Well, I said, he's just saying he's not going to come play right now. He's probably not going to play next week. It's not going to be something that's going to be quick to tell everybody like he's fine. Like, there's a concern there, but we don't quite know what that concern really is. The extent of it.
Jason, you've heard this a lot in the NFL. Never too high, never too low.
That's right.
Let's not get too low when the news was bad and there was an assumption of ACL. Let's not get too high right now that we don't have the ACL. It's somewhere in the middle, right? You've heard that a lot. Never too high, never too low in the NFL.
I actually made this point. I said this on Twitter because everybody was asking me, well, how long did it take you from that type of damage of the bone bruise and a PCL tear in the back? I said, I think it was somewhere around 3 to 4 weeks that I came back. It happened in the preseason. But I said, I think it's attributed to later on that season, about game 10, I went up to catch a football. Nobody hit me, came down, and I couldn't walk. And so, Doc, what I ended up having was femoral condyle deficit. I had just, and the doc told me, he said, Jason, because I got up, I'm like, Doc, I'm fine. He said, look, if you could step up and walk to me, I'll let you play. And I stood up and I crumbled. He said, yeah, you're done. He just said, you're done. And I just remember that. But I said, I do believe that partially me coming back that early from it, because they put a brace on it so I wouldn't extend myself, right? Hyperextended. So they put, I guess, degrees on it to restrict the hyperextension. And I wore that probably for maybe 7, 8 weeks until I felt my knee was okay. Now it's a little stabilized. The question I have with you, right? And you've done tons of knees, thousands of knees. And the stabilization, like how, if you're pulling on the ACL, and I don't know, like right now, what you're feeling it, right? Because I'm just thinking it hurts right now, Doc. I can feel you pulling on my knee right now. Do you feel like the stability of the ACL, and you're looking at how much is intact, and I know you know more so from the MRI, like it doesn't heal, right? I mean, are you saying
if the knee's unstable, his season is done. If his ACL is unstable, look, is it possible his ACL is stable and they're working through a partial tear? We'll see. And I'm probably on a 2-minute warning here without timeouts. I see what's happening over your shoulder, virtual shoulders here. But look, my son's favorite team is the Chiefs, because what 11-year-old doesn't love Patrick Mahomes? Okay, I mean, he went to I took him to the Super Bowl in Phoenix against the Eagles, right? So I'm rooting for everyone here. But if you told me right now, Rashee Rice comes back in Isiah Pacheco territory, late season, I'd say take it. I mean, that's better news than you already had, right? Take it. Right. That's kind of where we're at. And I know you guys wanted to address Isiah Pacheco and the new idea of ligament damage in addition to the fracture. I'm not going to be so cavalier as what I said off here, but look, tell me the last time when you have a fracture, everyone concentrates on the fracture. I get it. But is it really possible that there's just something fractured and there's no associated damage? Come on. It's like saying a pipe, a beam broke in my house but there's nothing to the drywall or the flooring. I mean, come on. A pipe broke in my house and there's a leak. Are you telling me there's no water damage associated with it? I mean, things don't happen in isolation. So,
Yeah.
look, I don't see that as significant in terms of, oh my God, now he's not coming back this season. It's still because of his position. Late season is what we're talking about. Marquise Brown, on the other hand, look, when he had that injury in the preseason at Sports Injury Central, in terms of draft picks, we were like, for fantasy, we're like, downgrade him, downgrade him, downgrade him. This ain't going to be Tyreek Hill, who heroically came back in about 4 weeks and this, that, the other. And no, we couldn't predict that it would shift out of place again.
Mm.
And the surgery is relatively unprecedented. When you get into unprecedented territory, doctors get conservative. And I don't see Hollywood Brown playing this year.
Wow.
Unfortunately. Partly because of conservative nature, partly because of unprecedented grounds, partly because, the worry is the major arteries near his chest here, and no one wants a 0.1% chance of something going really bad. So I don't see him coming back. Pacheco, I think, has a good chance to come back. It's a matter of when, but it's late season.
Okay. When you say Hollywood Brown's done for the year, playoffs included?
Probably, yeah. But I'll leave the light on in this way. It's uncharted territory. I'm not personally aware. I've done this surgery before. I'm not personally aware of the surgery on another NFL comp. So you're a little bit uncharted waters here. But yes, I kind of do mean playoffs. But we can leave a flicker of hope on. I mean, maybe as excitement builds and they need Hollywood Brown, and you talk to the doctors and what's the relative risk, and and you have all those discussions. But right now, I'd say, don't count on it. All right, thank you guys. I don't mean to cut this off, but we got the taxi meter's running in there.
I got you, Doc. I appreciate it so much. Please tell James I said hello.
I will. James Collins is the man.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you, Doc. Have a good one, Doc.
All right.
Come on, baby. Go. Yes.
That's a first down. It's a first down. It's a first down.
This football season, I'll be putting down normal sodas like Coca-Cola for Olipop. Olipop offers a healthier alternative with its low sugar content and natural ingredients.
Olipop is more than just a drink. It's a wellness companion that supports your digestive health. Packed with prebiotics, this fizzy elixir helps promote good bacteria in your gut, leading to improved digestion and overall well-being.
So go ahead, click the link in the description and use promo code SODALOVE and get your can of Olipop so you can enjoy the game guilt-free. Go Chiefs.
Use the promo code SODALOVE for 15% off now. We hope everybody enjoyed the chat with Dr. David Chow. JD, obviously you worked with a lot of doctors during your time in the NFL and also post career. But were there any revelations in that you kind of surprised you? The Hollywood Brown thing, because I've heard he's out for the year, but for me, I thought that was out for the year as far as out for the regular season. I thought we had a chance to see him in January or February.
Well, like he said, this is pretty much unprecedented, uncharted territory. And so he said he's done that before. He didn't really say he's done that on football players. And so if Hollywood's a fast healer, and I think it goes into if they're seeing significant change and healing in that place, they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe he does have a shot to come back and play, maybe toward the end of the season. But that's being optimistic. And so, like you said, if they don't quite know and they're just taking it, day by day, week by week, I think that's pretty much the only hope that we have here with Hollywood Brown. Now, going to what he was talking about, Rashee Rice. What I love about it was he was like, listen, I understand the stall tactics, what they were using to not tell everybody that, they don't quite know what was going on. But the great thing is he let everybody know that if they're not saying definitively that it's a full ACL tear, then that's good news. It's better than what we suspected going in. And so after the MRI and actually traveling, that's what I was kind of talking about. Like once you travel, you get on the plane, you want to come back home, you got your own doctors you want to look at how they do things. Then they can go ahead and get a better assessment, diagnosis of it. But as far as what that wields, we'll have to see. And if the Chiefs decide to disclose how long it's going to take or exactly what the injury is, that's something we'll just have to wait and see. But as far as, like I was telling him, man, look, this type of thing happened to me. And, if it's a PCL and if it's a partial ACL, how much is torn? How much can it get back? What is it? And somebody said, same thing. It could be partially torn meniscus. That's painful. I've had a torn meniscus I had to get operated on. I played with it, but it required surgery. And so all those things matter. Like you said, Rick and those guys are going to do a good job, treating it to get it back together. But those guys, they know what to deal with as far as with knees. Okay. And I'm sure they've, conferred with as many other guys like, hey, what do you think about this? How long is the timeline? They have the best doctors that deal with these things in the world. So that's why I love at least having somebody like Dr. Chow come out here and talk about it. Man, he knows. I mean, you see he's right here in surgery. You see you put a little cap on and he's going right in. So he's like, okay, they're ready for me. And I'm like, all right, Doc, scrub up. So, that was something. And maybe we could get Dom some medication for whatever is ailing him out of here that he's scratching. I don't know if they can help you. That sounds like a personal problem, man, you had to deal with now.
Put some Ben Gay on it. You'll be all right.
Yeah, that sounds like a little bit more than being gay. So it's funny. But as far as, like he was saying, no news, like I seen somebody say, no news is good news. We got a little bit of a glimmer of hope of saying, okay, it's not a definitive ACL tear or at least a full one, right? And so that is promising to hear. That's promising.
Yeah. And yeah, I gotta say, I was just, talking with a doctor, a guy who's been doing that profession for as long as he had been. The fact that he gets off for interviews, all right, guys, I gotta go do surgery. Like he literally just jumped off that interview just to go do surgery. Like, yeah, they're ready for me. Like it's crazy.
Professional, baby. That's professional right there, man. That's somebody who's very comfortable and they scared. They've been doing it for a long time. It is like breathing to him. It's that easy to go in. That's the guy that you want. So, like you said, you don't want to get too high and get low. I love doctors like that because they do give you some hope. When they talk to you, it's not the whole doom and gloom and, oh man, like I don't know about this, but they always positive in their conversation. They really are, until they start saying, hey, look, until we get further notice, there's some things there that you could kind of, hang your hat on. Then we got some information, Marcus, that we can hang our hats on that we do suspect that he's not going to be out the entire season. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was pretty clear, not seeing any kind of revelation from the this week of the injury news. They're waiting until next week. It's like, okay, they've already done the MRI. They are holding off on letting us know what exactly is going on. But the fact they did not release there's an ACL tear, because that's pretty cut and dry. It's an ACL tear. We didn't hear that this week. So that is good news that we did not hear that this week. So just going to be interesting to see what it comes next week when the more news does come out from the other testing he's doing. So,
yeah. So it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. The question is, what are we going to do while we're waiting?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.